I'm going to be talking more and more about this topic over the next year, and it's workplace loneliness. And I again, this is for you, the worker, but then I know we have leaders listening here, and I'm telling you, leaders, this is a wake-up call. Workplace loneliness. It's about belonging. So many men and women are lonely in a large office. So many people are lonely on a small, tight-knit team. They're lonely. And this is the humanness of work, and ultimately a soul craving that every human being on the planet has. I don't care if you're from Africa or Antarctica. I don't care if you're a liberal or a conservative. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your religion is. You can throw all of that crap out that divides us and separates us, and you can boil it down to this thing that all humans have, a desire to belong, to be a part of something. Belonging. So here's what happens. When a person is lonely at work, I want you to watch the progression, and we're going to talk about what to do about this. They start to withdraw from social activities and opportunities in the office. Now, that does not mean that someone who doesn't do this is lonely, but when you are lonely, you begin to withdraw. You do not engage in any kind of peer-to-peer opportunities outside the office. Then you slowly begin to limit your interaction and communication in the office. You may show up at meetings, but your body's there. That's it. Just because your body's in a meeting doesn't mean you're there. You could be a million miles away sitting right next to me. So then the progression is, as a person who is lonely pulls back socially and professionally, other people begin to notice specifically. They see it. Or sometimes it's just intuitive. Maybe that lonely person's keeping up a good act. They're showing up in the meeting, they're nodding their head and smiling. But when you withdraw in a meeting or in a professional communicative environment, even if you got a good face put on, and a lot of lonely people do, the lack of participation is the intuitive part where people go, well, Ken didn't say anything. Ken didn't say anything. Ken didn't say anything. Ken didn't say anything. By the way, nobody would ever say that about me, by the way. There's a phrase that's never been uttered. But when we withdraw, people begin to go, oh, okay, I guess they don't want to add something. And then they withdraw from you. They stop asking questions. Stop thinking about you in maybe a given opportunity or situation. You don't even become top of mind because you have, in plain sight, faded into the wall. Psychological research by the NCBI has cited loneliness as one of the major reasons for causing mental illness. So loneliness is, if you will, the gateway to mental illness. And not only mental illness, but now social, spiritual illness, physical illness. Watch the progression. High correlation between people who are lonely and mental illness developing, but also along with the mental illness, we are now trying to medicate in other ways. So they medicate with drugs, sex, alcohol, maybe gambling. Why? Trying to medicate the loneliness. A 2016 study involving 181,000 adults found that loneliness increases the risk of coronary heart disease by 29%. Heart disease. I'm not trying to be cheesy in any way, folks, but the correlation is there. Loneliness leads to heart disease. Loneliness of the heart leads to sickness of the physical function of the heart. It increases turnover, engagement drops, and that affects what? Productivity and profitability. correct? Yeah. I mean, just there you go. Now, leaders, what do you do about this to try to stem this? In other words, stop it before it happens. Fix it when it is happening. I'm just going to roll through a couple of things that I just jotted down. These are all what I've observed and what I believe. So one, leaders, I would be actively trying to come up with team building activities. Team building activities where this is not going out and playing kickball just for the sake of kickball. That's coming up. That's a fun thing. This is actually, let's put people in a teamwork environment, and it could be something fun, but where they have to work together. Let's begin to expose weaknesses in working with others. Let's force people to actually have to work with a team in a non-professional project or environment. Next, create mentor or a buddy system. As cheesy as the buddy system. But look, tell people, listen, you've been on the job for 2-3 years. We hire somebody new in your department. We're asking you to participate in a very organic. You come up with it however you want to. I don't care how structured it is. But mentor and buddy new people. Make them feel valued. Show them belonging early on. The first 90 days is crucial to win their heart. Eating together, playing together. And then leaders, you got to see people and hear people. If you see them and hear them, I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be hard for them to be lonely if for nothing else they have a relationship with their leader. So, loneliness, big problem. And we need to address it. All right, another interesting story here. Going to cover this really quick. This is troubling. Too many healthcare workers experience toxic workplaces. This is healthcare, the front line of people's physical health, and it's a dumpster fire across the country. Christine Porath, PhD and expert in unprofessional workplace behavior. This is a Fox News article. Too many healthcare workers are treated disrespectfully. We found that the majority don't even report it, often out of a sense of fear or hopelessness. Of those surveyed, 76% of healthcare workers said they experience incivility in the workplace at least once a month. A 2022 Medscape survey of more than 1,500 physicians found that 86% of those physicians had witnessed or experienced bullying or harassment by clinicians or staff. Healthcare and social service workers were 5 times more likely to experience workplace violence than all other workers. And we've reported on this show pretty consistently that the numbers of nurses, I've had nurses call this program, burned out. And this is our healthcare system? Doctors mistreating nurses, nurses mistreating patients. The very place we go to for health, ironically, isn't very healthy at all. It's big business, though. Big money. All of our healthcare premiums are going up. Drug pharmaceutical companies making money hand over fist. It's obscene. And yet, the front line of nurses are feeling mistreated and unsafe. What are we doing? Wake up, healthcare leaders. We the people ought to be taking this to the hospitals. Fix it. These are the people, the men and women that serve us all and put their life on the line. They ought to be able to be safe.